Hello and welcome to the channel. It's been a while since I posted. I was inspired to make this video by what I've been doing on the route the last few weeks. Trying something new as a rural carrier. So I work out of, my home office, I should say, is a POV office, which means we deliver out of our own vehicles. And I used to have a vehicle that was set up pretty well for this. It's a 2008 Ford Freestyle. Here you can see I have a hard tray with my mixed, like flats, mixed letters, and spurs sitting on the driver's seat. And then I had this bucket with a tray on it mounted above my glove box so I could work through my DPS on the route and put the mist throws in the bucket. So, worked pretty well. And I had pedals on the passenger side so I could just reach over and steer and work the pedals from the passenger seat. So it worked pretty well, but that vehicle hasn't run in a while. I have another full-time job. I work in a school, so I just do this on the weekends, and I've been just loaning myself out to LLV offices, so I haven't had to worry about a vehicle. But the past few weeks, I've had to work at my home office. They've needed me, so I've had to try to figure out how to do that. Here's a better look at my POV. So you can see the tray, you can see the hard tray there. So I haven't been able to use this vehicle, so this is what I've been using instead, a Transit Connect. And it works okay, but I don't have pedals in it, which means I don't have room for the hard tray. I don't have a tray mounted for working through DPS, and I have to straddle, which means I gotta reach my leg over the console to reach the pedals as I sit in the passenger seat to deliver. So not ideal, okay? And so I've been casing everything, but I was inspired to do something else. So I came in a couple weeks ago, and the route I was working on, there really wasn't much. There was like 2 feet of flats, 3 trays of letters, and not many packages, just a few spurs, like maybe 50 spurs, and I think there were 18 that actually had to go to the door. So you know what? Well, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try taking my DPS to the street, but I don't want to do it for the whole route, So I just took out one tray. The first tray I took out to the street, I just broke it into 2 half trays, figuring, this is a good day to do it. It's a nice day. It's sunny out. It's a light day. So even if I'm miserable with this DPS, at least it won't take that long. It's not bad. And then once I'm done with that first tray, then it's just all cased, right? And it went well. At first I was working it off the dashboard, and then I had it riding in my lap. I'm like, this works pretty well. A bucket like this, sitting on my driver's seat with the mixed stuff that I could reach in and grab out the mixed stuff, and the tray of DPS, like this little half tray, just have that half tray sitting in my lap and just work through it. And that's what I did. And I figured, well, I'll do that the next week. But when I came in the next week, sure enough, it was light, but I had to come in late because I was picking up my wife from work. And I let them know, and I was about 20 minutes late. Somebody had already cased 2 trays of my DPS for me. I'm like, that's really nice, but, thank you. I just said thank you, but in my mind, I'm like, well, now I've got to pull this all down. It's going to actually take me longer. So here's the way I worked to pull it down. So this was, again, not many flats. This was only like a foot of flats, and I didn't have newspapers or anything, Not many flats. Again, maybe 40, 50 spurs, so there wasn't much other than the DPS that was sitting there. So here's what I worked out. What I decided to do was to kind of waffle weave it into half trays. So this is what I did, I'd lay down the letters for the first house, starting at the back, working forward, and then I'd lay the next one like this, the next pack of letters, and just kind of work around like that, just work it around in a waffle weave and just kind of stack it like that so it wouldn't move much, But and then if well, what if you get postcards, Well, this is what I do with postcards. If I got a postcard, I'd lay it on top, and then I'd lay the next stack of mail next to it, and then I'd lay a stack of mail on top of both of them. That way, I wouldn't get confused and actually accidentally grab the postcard with a stack of letters. That's the idea there. Okay, and then there were some flats, so then the flats, magazines or papers would go on top, and then and then if there were spurs, I'd lay those in there too. And then once the tray got too fat, what I'd do is I'd stack it into buckets. So going back, these buckets like this, yeah. Turns out you can fit one of those half trays in there, and that's what I did. Is after I stacked the letters, I would drop the half tray in there, and I had one bucket where it was 3 half trays on top of each other. Okay, and then I had a couple other buckets where I had a half tray and then kind of a thick spur. Once it was there, I'd end and go on to the next tray, and then another half tray on top. And this worked out pretty well. The purpose of having the buckets was that it was easier to keep these in order and easier to manage in my vehicle. Instead of having just like 8 half trays rolling around in there. They were stacked nicely in buckets like this. And then for the last one, I did, for the last row, for the last tray of DPS, I did what I had done earlier, which is, split into 2 half trays, had the bucket with the mixed spurs and flats and mixed letters and stuff, and yeah, worked it out. So this is what that waffle weave kind of looks like in real life. I've got the addresses turned downward just for privacy purposes. But yeah, this is, it's just kind of weaving around like that. And you can see a little spur sneaking a peek out there, right? And then, there it is sitting in the bottom of a bucket, and I'm setting a spur on top of it. And then the next half tray will go on top of that. Okay? And there I am in my vehicle. Handsome guy, right? No. There I am in my vehicle. You can see half tray sitting on my lap as I straddle and deliver. Okay? Excuse me. And that's it. Again, just a different way of doing things. Thought I'd share it with you. Have a great day.